esports.
Yep, as it is, and here we are. We're in game 2 now.
Neoplanet S. This is a funky map.
It is. It's. We always talk about this. It's the map that no one likes. No one likes to play on it for some reason, but it's a balanced map because of that. No one likes to play on it. It's bad for taking a third base, no matter what race you are, no matter what matchup.
I think the only redeeming feature of Neoplanet is it is actually quite fun to watch games on, because they tend to be quite action-packed and scrappy, because both players know that going for a macro game is not viable in the slightest.
And then you have the pathing issues that become from the two attack paths, so misclicks can potentially ruin games. You also have Ring Around the Rosie, where someone decides to do a timing while the other person does as well, which ends up in this really awkward base race. And 4Ax, Met Reactor, and Double upgrade in Medevac. I understand some of those words.
I'm guessing there's going to be 4Ax with double upgrades.
And double upgrades with a Medevac.
Yep.
And tank.
And supported by 2 base.
He's going to support that all off 2 base.
See, Optimus has got it all down. He knows that mules are what are required. That's how you win with Terran. Cool down mules, win.
Yeah,
it's that simple.
It is a legit build.
It is. Just don't forget anything else. Just make mules. Mules win.
Call the build order win. Terran build mules.
As we can see, though, both players are just getting down a well, actually, Inzo getting a relatively fast scout. Probably a bit worried that some kind of cheese is coming in, but he sees the gas, the racks coming down. Meanwhile, for Inzo, he's going for exactly the same build game 1, which is an unusual choice because he didn't win game 1, and generally you don't see people continue with what failed.
No, but then on the other hand, you don't have people expecting you to go for a same build when they came in and scouted it and it failed.
This is like mind games. This is like, he thinks that I'll think that I won't do that build again, so if I do it again, he won't know.
Oh, and is he going to get the block off? Yes, he gets the block off. And that's perfect. That'll really irritate Optimus. And it puts Izno slightly at... It just adds, like, if you can't get the scout on, it just adds this little mental effect where they're like, oh crap, now what are they going now?
It's... Do you remember the times when you'd only ever see that quick wall off if a Terran player was going for like a double gas play?
Yep,
super early
gas.
on.
Yeah.
And then it switched a couple of months back to they'd only do it if they were going for like a 1-rack CC. And now it's switched again to being in the middle.
Yeah, no, and then there was that brief time against Protoss where it was for 1-1-1s and they'd start the depot and then the probe couldn't get in and it's like, oh, I know he's going for a 1-1-1 though.
It's, when you meta that hard, it's just like, it's so obvious what they're doing. But of course we do have from Optimus a very similar build to game 1, actually identical build to game 1, getting that factory down relatively quickly, the second gas there as well. And Inzo, 2 racks into a command center. All the same.
All the same, and I wouldn't be surprised if he went and got Combat Shield first again.
What are your thoughts on getting Combat Shield first, really?
First.
Do you like it?
Combat Shield first is better than Stem.
I would agree with you, but there's... The downside to it is only that if your opponent gets stim out quickly, you get destroyed. But to the same extent, you are in a much nicer position as long as you don't get dropped, though. Because if you start getting dropped heavily, like we saw in game 1, that's where you can run into some problems.
I do think Combat Shield better though, because if they come at you with stim, they stim, right? They attack twice as fast, but you have 20 effective HP more than they do. Because you have the extra 10 HP and they've just lost 10. So
yeah.
You do actually benefit from that. Even if they have medevacs, you do better with Combat Shield over Stim.
I see your point. I think it's a good one to make.
It's if you want to be really mobile on the map, though, I think Stim is the key, because it can get you out of so many situations.
It depends on playstyle a lot, I find, as well, that you've got to... I think the only time you go for Stim is if you do have a very clear window you're trying to hit, and you want to get that Stim rushed out. But as you can see at the moment, Banshee play will be on the cards for Optimus. I like Banshee play, especially with Cloak. Really fallen out of favour, I found recently.
It has. People have just become so accustomed to dealing with Banshee play by just pumping out loads of Marines in that early game that they're not really as effective anymore. And if you go for a 1-1-1 Cloak Banshee, you've got to do some kind of proper damage to kind of catch up later. So you need to go and kill SCVs. Killing Marines won't cut it.
It just won't. One Marine is going to die here for Inzo. Walks straight into a group of 5. We've got one Marine lowly going over the top there. Just being like, yo, I like going the different way. He's an independent thinker. He's not a sheep. But as you can see now, we've got the bunker is up and placed quite happily. So not going to have to be pushing in too fast. But with the Banshee that's about to pop out, or actually about to come in, you got the issue where the bunker are going to see the Marines pull out of there in order to come and defend against this Banshee. There is enough energy for a scan there, but only one. The main doesn't have enough energy there, so that just means that this is going to really reduce the mule count for Inzo.
Yeah, it is, and I mean, this isn't what we want. He's getting split here. Usually when you're dealing with Cloak Banshee, you're just dealing with Cloak Banshee, and he's got to leave an extra 4 Marines at the front, which is going to be make it so much harder to deal with the Banshee.
I'm so surprised as well that Optimus didn't choose to focus this tech lab down sooner.
Yeah, I am as well. Maybe he just wasn't aware that that was like the tech lab that he's using to research everything.
You can see it's researching as well.
Yeah. But you wouldn't think like, oh, I'll put my really precious upgrades right on the edge of the base. Maybe you thought it was like there's another Frax with the tech lab actually like researching like stim and combat shield, and this was like concussive shells or something stupid that no one actually wants.
Hey, don't mock concussive shell. There's many a good timing build that work well off that. But of course, we do see that this Banshee is being quite successful currently in the main base. So many scans being used.
Yeah, and that's another wasted scan right there. I mean, if it doesn't kill it, it's a pointless scan.
It's not going to. There is the missile turret down, but of course the Marines are just getting slowly picked apart by the Banshees.
Yeah, and I mean, he's doing this damage with Marines, and the ideal way he can do it is if he goes for a big push later in the game, because you've kept his Marine count down, even though you haven't actually taken down that many Harvesters.
But having said that, we see yet more Banshees coming in. Missile turrets are not down at the natural base, and yet another scan forced. The Banshee will die, unfortunately, but there's still 2 more out on the field. They're going to be coming back in towards the main base. The big problem, though, is that even though there have been that many workers killed, it's so many scans. That is an incredible amount of income. It's just under 1,000 minerals worth of
oh
income.
god, this tech lab's going to go down. Banshee DPS is really, really high. SCVs are pulled just in time though, and those Banshees get shooed away. But yeah, in the game of Marine versus Marine, you need as many minerals as you can get. People say they're free, but if Marines are free and your opponent can build Marines as well that are also free, you've got to have more anyway.
Yeah, you've got to have more Marines, and if you're constantly remaking them, if you're behind in the income, then you're going to be running into more and more problems. You do see that these Marines are desperately trying to force back these Banshee, but we can see at the natural base, there's yet more SCVs going down. This is now actually racking up to quite a kill count. 13 workers have gone down. Optimus is about to have to defend, though, a small chunk of Marines walking into his natural base, but he's got a tank. He needs to siege it quickly. I really hope he sieges that.
He really does, and you're going to see Combat Shield versus Stim. Stim just finishing for Inzo. And Combat Shield's almost done for Optimus. That siege tank is going to be crucial. I'm not sure why he didn't siege it earlier, because he could get an extra shot in there.
He should be fine now, though. He has managed to siege it up. Meanwhile, the Banshees are all shut down. There's 2 still remaining on the field. However, one's had to pull right back, one's the natural, and that's because a Viking came out for Inzo. So he's just like, Banshees, go away. Stop it. Stop it right now.
But I do like the fact that he went and he repaired that Banshee back at his main, and is this one... Oh my god, no, it's not going to get away.
It can't possibly get away. It can't. I'm sorry to break it to you, Greedy, but it will not be able to escape. That poor Banshee, he tried. She tried.
Come on, we're equal opportunists here.
I've always wondered that. Like, don't you think that it is slightly sexist that it's only the pilots in the Terran army that are female?
Yeah. Well, no. Most armies do this. They don't let women serve on the front line because it's traumatizing for men or something to see a woman get hurt.
It's a bit strange.
It is a bit weird. They've opened it up in some countries there and they're starting to do it more as they realise that, hey, that's maybe a little bit sexist. But Optimus pushing in here with 2 tanks and not a single siege tank for Izno, so he can just slowly squeeze him down here. And oh god, he's had enough. SCVs are getting pulled, big stim down from the Marines, and he can just stim his own Marines and kill all of this.
Yeah, but it's the number of SCVs that are going to go down as well. That was quite a good number. We do have the Banshees in the main getting focused out, but in terms of workers killed, 26 are now dead. Optimus 43 to 30. That's a fairly substantial lead at this stage, especially when you factor in the number of scans that have been forced.
It is. The scans alone were enough, really, but I mean, the amount of SCVs is 26. That's really allowed him to catch up from that 1-1-1 opening compared to the very macro-oriented opening of the 2 racks expand.
Well, as we can see, we do have now Optimus just sitting back in a more defensive position. He knows that he's got to turtle up and take his economic advantage. His 3rd CC is just finishing, so that puts him in a good little spot. But Inzo has already got his 3rd orbital command done as well, so this is allowing him to catch up slightly, but still, Optimus, he's 10 workers ahead.
Yeah, Izno did have that upgrade advantage, delaying his 2-2 for some time, which could be quite... Because, I mean, he had that upgrade lead, and that's what helped him hold in that last battle. He had 1-1 on his Marines, as opposed to 0-1. And he's just kind of let it lapse slightly, and again, he's not researching theirs the +2 armor.
Yeah, this is getting further and further ahead for Optimus, to be honest. As far as I'm concerned, just purely due to the worker advantage. But look at this, a drop coming in, and if this drop is successful, actually if this... Oh my goodness, the command center's coming down.
Oh god, he dipped in just to see if it was there.
Oh, if he'd stayed for just a second, that would have been so good.
Yeah, it really would. And oh, he's dipping back in now, going, oh, there you are. You had fun here, and the army is nowhere to be found. He's got to lift off, and to be honest, I don't think this orbital will make it home.
It's not going to. There's going to be way too much damage here off these Marines. We've got all of Inzo's army getting pulled to try and save it, but it's already on fire. It should definitely go down. SUVs haven't been pulled. It's going to be close. Will it burn? Will it burn? That's the question.
No, it won't.
Oh no, SUVs are there.
Good
okay,
jukes and drives there. And looking at the unit count, I mean, this game has really evened out. We're looking at 50 workers each, 5 medevacs each, 4 tanks each. Optimus is the one down in Marines though, because he lost that drop, but it's really even.
It is really even, and losing that drop's worth of stuff without sniping off that orbital command. If the orbital command had gone down, that would have been 100% worth it. Optimus would have been even further ahead. But just as you said earlier about Neoplanet, if they both move across the map, you end up in funky base races.
And I think Optimus is going to do really well here because he is ahead. He's closer to the base. That means he can put the pressure on while lifting off his own. So Izno, he can't go back now. He's just too far away.
Yeah, he's got to go in for it, but the advantage does come here now for Optimus. But this is going to be pretty much full-on base race.
And that sensor tower finishes just as the army's running up, and he's like, "Oh crap!"
I can see it with my sensor tower's vision range.
Hold on, there's something right next to us. So that orbital, I think, may be able to escape. But look at that big lift off with all the medevacs going straight into the main, and this is going to wreak havoc. He's camping the production now. There's nothing we can do against this.
All the Marines for Optimus going to come up, but they're not going to be able to get there in time. Unfortunately, his nice little bit of SimCity blocking his own army to defend, but Optimus, he's ahead in this base race at the moment. He's got tanks there as well, whereas currently Inzo does not have any tanks to defend with, and that means that he's taking far more substantial losses.
He is. SCV's got pulled in Optimus's main. There's only Marines versus Marines now. Few buildings burning down, but it's all fine. Meanwhile, in Inzo's base, Optimus killed the main orbital. He's killed all the production, and the natural's been lifted off.
Yeah,
but none of the buildings for Optimus have died. He's just lifted them all off. One's burning, the barracks, but Starport's still alive, the factories are still alive, the main's still alive.
He's just floating them back away behind the tanks, and this massively is now turning... Why is it every TVT on Neoplanet I cast just turns into this strange base racy situation? And he said...
Bring around the Rosie syndrome.
He said UK Masters, Western Wolf Sting versus Mao's Hero Marine. They both ended up with one command center and no SCVs. Both simultaneously landing at the gold bases with Mules mining. One of them had like 4 Marines and the other one had a Hellion and a Widow mine. And it lasted for like 20 minutes.
I'm not surprised. That is like a micro battle.
It was ridiculous.
I can't imagine who would have won that.
It was the Widow mine and Hellion.
But Marine Imba.
Widow mine more Imba. But as we can see though, this main base for Optimus is slowly getting chipped away at, but
nothing's died. Only that one barracks. That's all the production he's lost. Meanwhile, Izno's trying to rebuild everything. I mean, he's got 3 barracks in production, 1 siege tank here, but this army's just going to crush it, come back home and crush this.
There was one lone tank there, just being like, yo, I'm a tank, what up? But there's the Grad, just like, I can't defend that.
He leaves the game.